What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's so good to have you again right here with me. So I haven't really sat down and talked to y'all in so long, and that's because I definitely have been going through some changes. A lot of you guys know, if you've been following me, you already know. If you're a Chin Gang, then you already know that I'm here in this city by myself. I know no one. Yes, it's been a year, and I mean, you know what, I'm not gonna sit there and act like I haven't met people. I have met people, but my choice is just, I am a very intuitive person, and I know what I want. I know the type of relationships I want in my life. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm very intentional. So I live my life very intentional. Nothing I do comes as a surprise to me, because I literally create everything. For the most part, yes, I do practice intentional living. So, you know, that means anybody that I bring into my life, anybody I bring into my space has to be beneficial to me. I am big on reciprocity. I don't want certain people in my life because I'm aware of, you know, energy and how things work and how I'm able to really bring about and attract things into my life. And I have big goals, you guys, and I just can't afford for anybody to knock me off my game. I know you guys see that I'm a little bit over the place, and I haven't really talked to you about a lot of stuff. So today I'm just really filming some videos before I go back to my regular work week. It's freaking a mess, okay? It is just hope you guys are all in great spirits, and I love you guys so much for, you know, just being on this journey, just sharing this space. All right, so today's video I'm going to be talking about why I don't like apartments in the South, specifically Savannah. I can't talk about everywhere in the South. I never lived anywhere else in the South except for Savannah, but I do know that a lot of other places do have these similar things that I'm about to tell y'all, because, you know, on my journey I kept having people comment and, you know, sharing their own experiences, and they were similar to mine. So I know that whether you're in Texas, you're in Houston, you're in Dallas, you're in Atlanta, anywhere in the South, I just feel like this is a thing. It's not for everybody, and that is apartment complexes. Okay, why I feel like I made a big mistake comes to finding a home in an apartment complex. What I'm about to share with you is my personal experience. So just keep in mind that it's just all about my experience, my personal journey with my spirituality, my practices, my just my lifestyle habits. So number one, it is a big house. Okay, somebody said this to me, and it's funny because it never really dawned on me before, and I'm just like, when they mentioned it, I was like, you know what, that makes sense. Even though, I mean, it looks like it, but I just never thought that far to say that it looks like a big house. But it really is a big house, you guys. Living in an apartment complex is literally a big family house. You have your own apartment, your own section, but if you think about it, there is just people beneath you, people above you, people around you in general, and it is a big house. If you've been following my journey, you know I was talking about this at the maybe like a couple months in at my last apartment. I was talking about this, and I was basically saying how you can literally hear your neighbor. Thank goodness my old complex was a new establishment, and I was the first person to live in my unit, which I'm super grateful for, because I was able to, it was not a lot of people at the time, so I was able to actually pick what I want. You know, I know a lot of places, if you go to try to apply, it's probably filled up with tenants already, and you know, it's not much options that you have. So it's like, if you're used to even living in complexes, and you know you don't even like to hear people on top of you, you have no choice, because you had to get it. You get what I'm saying? Like, you had to get somewhere and you had to settle for it. But I was really grateful because there wasn't really a lot of people at the time, so there were units available, so I had to pick, and I definitely picked the third floor, because I felt like I had all in mind about how I wanted my, you know, my days. I had everything planned out. You know, my morning routines, and I'm just like, you know what, I don't want to be hearing people, you know, upstairs and whatever. So I was on the top floor of my in my unit, which was great. But is the fact that if you watch my other video, and I'll link that video, it's about moving again. So if you watch that video, you would see where I explained that I wanted to move because I knew what I felt was valid, basically. And those people weren't wrong. They weren't wrong. I just didn't know, which is okay, you know? So basically, I'm gonna just give you a little rundown. So when I first came to that apartment, I had on my heels and I was recording a empty apartment tour video. And I guess after like an hour or so, they started to knock on the door, on the door. They started to knock on the ceiling because they were beneath me. So they started to knock. So I could basically hear them. And they probably was saying, "You're walking too hard." And that's one thing that really, I feel like, triggered my everything. And I totally everything went down south from there. I just felt like, you know what, I don't even want to be here anymore, because I don't want anybody to interrupt what I have going on for myself. I know what I'm talking about. I know myself, and I know how I operate, and I know how I thrive, and I know the environment that I thrive in, and that wasn't the environment at all. All of these apartment complexes that they make now are very cheap, and it's so funny. When I moved in and I was getting my Wi-Fi connected, the first thing the guy told me, right, he was like, these places are cheap. Like, they make them very cheap because they're in a rush. You know, it's real estate. Come on, it's real estate. It's a money thing, and they don't take their time. They order the cheapest flooring, the cheapest, you know, based on however they want to price the rent and all the other things. So he explained that to me, and I remember I didn't know anything about this. I was new coming in, so I was just like, but I seen what he was talking about. Like, even the paint job in the apartment was beautiful. You guys saw it for yourself. It was beautiful. But there were some places that I did see that wasn't really done all the way, you know, some little nicks and cracks, and I ignored it. But when he said that to me, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this man knows what he's talking about. So, you know, this is the thing with these places, these complexes. They're very, like, just very quick, and they get the job done really quick. And yeah, so it's not concrete. You know, I personally prefer, I'm from Brooklyn, so, well, I'm from Long Island, but I always say I'm from Brooklyn. But anyways, because I lived in Brooklyn most of my life anyway, so I always say I'm from Brooklyn. You know, I'm a Brooklyn girl, so, you know, I'm used to the concrete, you know what I'm saying, like the hard. I've lived in one for a short period of time, and it was just like so dope to me. It's just like really hard, and you don't really hear your neighbors, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't hear when they talking, you don't hear when they stomping, and listen, we have a lot of kids up in Brooklyn that lives in these apartments, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you don't really hear them running, except if they in the hallways or something like that. But here in these complexes, these cheap complexes, you hear everything. I couldn't do it, you guys. Like, I really could not do it. Another thing I disliked about living in a apartment complex was the fact of the excuses that not only the valet trash people would make, but the office would make as well for them. Usually, I'm that big mouth, loud mouth girl, but now I realize that it's more powerful to just be quiet, to observe, and to act accordingly. Do what's best for you all the time. That's what I did. Sitting there watching, observing, and the whole time just looking at, okay, is this for Chin? So yeah, I was like, is this really, like, this is really what's going on? Okay, so in my complex, I had valet trash, okay? And I know a lot of other complexes do offer this service as well. So basically, valet trash is, there is a compactor that you can take your I was gonna say laundry, that you can take your garbage to, but it's just really a convenient a convenience, you know, especially for the elderly or somebody that, you know, people have kids or, you know, whatever the case may be, or you just really love to just be in luxury, get your garbage taken out, you know what I'm saying? For me, I mean, it was cool, but if I didn't have the option, I would definitely be fine doing it myself. I've done it before, you know, so it's not a big deal. Valet trash, when I tell you, they would make the stupidest excuses to not come, okay? It could be like literally not really raining and they would not come. And the next day, we also have this, we had an app on our phones. When you're a tenant, they when you first get your lease and everything, have an app of the community, so you know everybody could post stuff on there that they don't like. So you would see like a lot of people complaining about like people driving too fast, or people's pets is pooping on the, you know, leaving poop outside, or just a whole bunch of stuff. So anything to do with the community, you could post on there. So you know, I would read these things sometimes, and it's just like crazy amount of silly excuses that these people will make, and bringing it up only because we're paying for it, right? It's in the lease, it's in the rent. So basically you're paying for valet trash. Mine was $27, I think, a month on top of the rent. You basically are paying for this service, but every little excuse they'll make about you know, why they can't come, or you know, it's so silly. You know what really got me is the fact that like I said, the people in the office were literally like, they would write back and say, oh well, it is still your responsibility to take your trash out, okay? Now, I understand you're probably trying to be professional, and that's just what they told you, the higher up told you to do. But I'm sure, I really hope you got a little more common sense than that. I really hope you do, because these people is paying $27 a month, top of their rent, for valet trash, and you're gonna tell them some silly excuse like, oh, it's still. So one person, I will never forget this, one person left a comment on there, and she did it very nice, and I loved it too. What is it then? If you're not paying for them to take it out, what is it then? Because clearly, if the people in the office is hyping that you're still responsible for it, what does that goes to show? So you guys, you know what? I just see I'm blind, hear I'm deaf. I'm gonna, because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really could not believe what I was seeing. How dare you how you gonna tell the people, the tenants, that it's still their responsibility to take it out? You didn't even give these people an option, okay? You did not give them an option if they wanted it or not. It was basically a shove in their face. Like, if you want this apartment, this is what it is. So I just felt like that was really wrong. Like, that's really wrong. Just like, you know, a lot of things I get on here and I rant about society and how the government is wrong. It is freaking wrong, y'all. And it's just like, I cannot get a hold of it. Like, I can't get a grip of it at all. Like, I just can't. I was telling y'all about the community tab. That's another issue too. It honestly made me feel like sometimes, you know, and I'm not gonna agree with everything, and that's okay. Everybody's not gonna agree with me, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine. The community tab was just a little bit too much for me. It's just like every little thing they would nick and nag about, and it would irritate me. Like, everything. It's crazy. It's just like, you know, certain things. Go and get a house. Go and rent a house. Do something other than living in a complex community, because unfortunately, you can't stop everybody from doing what you do not like, what you feel is right. It's not going to happen, because everybody is different. Everybody have their own lifestyle, their own personalities, their own what they think is right. Like the office people too, like they will literally just be taken up. Like like I said, I understand being professional, but I can't stand the matrixy, y'all. It irritates it grinds my gears. It really does. And I just really wish that everybody would really wake up and see what is going on in the world instead of still being so asleep, because it just be too much for sis. It be too much for my brain. This one is super, super important. I had a sense of security, because the whole four years I was at my basement apartment in New York City, my rent did not go up, not $1, not $2, not 50 cents. Mine, I did not sign a lease for. I just rented privately from a private owned person, and I didn't really have the knowledge of all of this lease stuff. And let me tell you, I hate it. I hate leases, because you are stuck. You get what I'm saying? So especially if you're somebody that, wants to move by yourself, like me, all brave. You want to move somewhere by yourself, just be very, very careful, because you're going to have to be super, super, super duper financially secure. You're going to have to really work. You're going to have to invest. You're going to have to have some saving. You're going to have to put away money just to make sure that you are secure, just in case anything. Because the thing is, when you go into these leases, you don't know if you're going to end up paying more the next year that you renew your lease. So make sure that you have some kind of security, and you're going to really have to bust your butt like I'm doing. Okay, you really gonna have to have some multiple streams of income coming in, because you know what, especially if it sucks. Imagine if you start going and you decorating your apartment and you're making it homey, and then next year when you try to renew your lease, you find out you got to pay $200-300 extra. Like, that is crazy. So it's just like, a lot of these things really turn me off. Definitely have to be on top of your financial situation, because you don't know what's what. The last thing that I have written down here to share why I don't like apartment complexes here in the South is I can't be myself. I'm not gonna lie, I cannot be myself. The person that I'm building is not fit for apartment complex at all. Because let's talk about laundry, okay? Especially a lot of these new luxury apartments, you do have your washer and your dryer in your unit. And it's just like, you can't come home and wash your clothes or, any time of the night, because you have to be aware of that you have neighbors, right? And they're gonna hear the laundry going off at 1, 2, not to say me, because I'm asleep pretty early. But, if worst come to worst, any situation happen, I feel like, that, especially for somebody even live that kind of life, if you go to bed late or whatever, it's just like, you can't really do laundry late at night, because you have to be aware of your neighbors. Even taking showers, y'all, I'm not gonna lie to you, I really didn't feel comfortable even taking a shower. And you guys know that I wake up pretty early. I wake up 5, 6 in the morning, and I just felt like my neighbors are gonna hear me downstairs. That's not the type of life that I want to live. I'm sorry. I want to live my life free. I want to live my life just being comfortable, and it's not a comfortable lifestyle for me. Even 10, 11 at night, I still felt weird. Like, I don't know why, I just felt like that. I was like, I don't even want to take a shower, because I just felt like they're gonna hear me. What if the neighbors downstairs are asleep? I don't really like that. Like, let me just say, like, some of them are beautiful. My complex was beautiful. They upheld everything. It was clean. I had no problems with it. Was one of the safest communities ever that I could have ever chosen. I really am so grateful for that. You don't have, idlers hanging outside. You couldn't even really smoke. They have like this policy, so you couldn't smoke cigarettes or weed or whatever you do. You can't smoke that outside, so I really didn't smell any of that. It's like, it was perfect. But it's just, those things made me realize that a complex living is not for chin. It kind of sucks, because they're beautiful on the inside, but it's just not for me. I'm very intentional with my lifestyle and where I'm going in life and how I want things to be. And in order for me to thrive, and in order for me, I feel like, to truly get into my energy of, creating my manifestations, I have to have these things. Like, it's a must. It's a must. Apartment living is no longer for me, and I can't. So let me talk about why it was a big mistake for me, and why I don't really feel too bad about it. Is the fact that, like, moving to a new city, I really wanted that security, and I felt like at the time having a complex, being in a complex, it's gonna be more secured because I was moving somewhere totally I totally knew anyone. And I was concerned about that. You know, I was concerned. I was like, you know what? I don't want to get a house because I'm not aware of the neighborhoods like that. You know, I did my research. Yes, I did. But it's just still, you know, I'm living by myself. I'm not living amongst people. I would have to get my own security system. I would have to, you know, just like a whole bunch of stuff. So I was just like, I don't think I was ready for it. But I feel like getting in a complex was a big mistake. But you know, it is what it is. Everything is a lesson. I always preach this, and I don't really let it get to me. I don't let it live in me. I just take it and I just move forward. Anyway, so that's pretty much it, you guys, for this why I don't like living in apartment complexes in the South, baby. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.